From the moment we're born, we're all in a power struggle.
From the boardroom to the bedroom, power dictates everything we do.
But how can we tell who really has it? And how can we get it for ourselves?
Bosses often use the divide and rule ploy. Pitting people against each other helps them maintain their own power. My advice is, if you work in this environment, don't fight them, but cooperate with your co-workers to form a majority and gain influence that way.
But there are differences between the management styles of men and women, with men being much more task-oriented and women being more person-oriented.
To be really effective as a boss, men and women need to have a mixture of both styles.
A tough but fair boss who gets things done effectively, motivating employees without becoming intimidating or aggressive.
But what happens if your boss's style isn't so easily defined?
This business, established in 1922, is one of the UK's leading paper merchants. Managing Director Tim Elliott runs his business in a family manner.
Morning, guys. How are we doing, Andy?
Even training up his son Matthew to take over.
I'd like to go through the agenda if we could.
Tim may not seem like a chest-beating alpha male, but even in this work environment, the status of the boss is all important. We've come to find out more.
It's like, you know, one big family. You've got the director comes round when he's here and says good morning to every single person in the company before he sits down. That's what we like, you know.
So how does that make you feel when he does that?
Well, the fact that he knows all our names and takes the time to say hello, yeah, that's good. I mean, most of the girls and the guys have been here for years.
Hi, Faye.
Hello, Tim.
How are you doing? Hard at work?
As always.
Great stuff.
How long have you been here?
I have been here for 14 years.
Yeah.
It's a lovely family environment.
So when you go cherry-picking people, are you looking for pushy, ambitious people, or whether you think that just... Ooh.
No, pushy, ambitious people don't work here.
No?
Obviously, you want people that are educated to a certain standard.
Yeah. Sounds like you nurture people along, so you find the right personality that's going to fit into the family thing.
Yes, we do.
And then you nurture them to sort of belong here.
Yeah.
For the typical alpha male, work is a very competitive place. But actually, most people want to be led. Here, the workforce are loyal servants to boss Tim, as he sets a very clear and consistent message of the culture and values of the company. I'm sitting in on one of their key management meetings to see what I can spot. Here, Tim, the boss, and Matt, his son and heir, sit at opposite ends of the table, the two most powerful positions. Notice how Tim is also the last to enter the room. This is because as boss, he's showing that his time is more precious than anybody else's.
Now that's a really nice example of what's called the structure of attention.
This meeting we have twice a year, as I think you will all recall. Like all meetings...
You can usually tell who's in charge by examining patterns of gaze. That is, who's looking at whom.
And here, everyone is looking at Tim. Equally, Matt gets a lot of attention when he speaks. But when others talk, eyes begin to drift.
Interesting, ask Roger this, but does this actually mean we...
This shows that the employees are acknowledging Tim's position. It shows that they want to be led.
During meetings, it's often instructive to look at how people manipulate objects, what are called object-focused actions. They're very revealing.
This demonstrates that people are being kept on their toes and that they accept that Tim is fully in charge.
There are at least 3 reasons why people touch their face. First of all, to draw attention to themselves. Secondly, to comfort themselves. And thirdly, to show that they do not want to be the next speaker. People often nod their head in order to show that they understand what the other person is saying. But there's another really important reason why they do so, and that's to appease the other person. And that's why, when the boss is speaking, you frequently see other people nodding their head. However, when one of them is speaking, it's very unlikely that the boss will be nodding his head.
aiming for lower emission cars for company car drivers.
People sometimes place their hands behind the back of their head in order to comfort themselves, but they also do so as a dominance display. That is, broadening the chest, positioning the hands in preparation for attack. That is a real power display.
Every gesture and action confirms the boss's place at the top of the hierarchy. And no matter how friendly he is, everyone here recognizes the signals and acts accordingly. That's because Tim's approach gets results. 3 years ago, his company sales hit 80 million. That's top dog performance.
You can go, Jeff. Yeah, I'll go.
There's no shouting, no egomania as Tim leaves first, confirming once more that he's the most important person in the room.
What did you notice?
Well, Tim obviously was the boss, totally in control, and all his communication seemed to be with Matt, his son. So it was like actually watching a tennis match between two people, and the others were actually just felt like spectators.
But did you notice some of the face touching? I thought was really quite revealing. In psychology, we have this idea of the intention display. So you can tell when people are about to do something because they leak a little bit of information.
Yeah.
But in a way, this face touching is the opposite. It's a way of showing, quite unconsciously, to everybody around you, particularly to the boss, that you have no intention of taking over the turn to talk.
So they were happy to be resigned. I'm so comfortable, I'm part of the family, and this is where I want to stay.
Yep.